All right, settle in and pour yourself an ale. Tonight on the Small Council Unfiltered, we're cutting through the songs and the stories to talk about something simple. Who hits the hardest? We hear the names all the time, whispered in taverns and shouted in tourneys. The legends, the monsters, the knights whose names alone can make a lesser man drop his sword. But who are they, really? What makes a swordsman not just good, but deadly? Is it winning tourneys? Is it slaying a dozen men in a muddy field? Is it the legend they leave behind? The answer is, it's all of it. So tonight, we're counting them down. We've scoured the histories, we've listened to the whispers from the barracks to the Red Keep, and we've put together the definitive list. This is the 12 deadliest swordsmen in Westeros, explained. Let's start with a name you know. You've probably seen her, you can't miss her. Brienne of Tarth is a giant of a woman, stronger than most knights you'll ever meet. But don't make the mistake of thinking it's just size and strength. The woman has serious, formal training. Her style isn't fancy, it's brutally effective. She uses her reach and power to overwhelm opponents, hammering their shields and breaking their stances. We've all heard the story of how she beat the Kingslayer himself, Jaime Lannister. Now, let's be fair, he was chained, malnourished, and had been rotting in a cell for a year, but still, she bested him. She also fought Sandor Clegane to a standstill, and some say won, in a brawl so savage it was barely a sword fight. So why is she only at number 12? Because for all her skill, she lacks the cold, murderous instinct of the others on this list. She fights with honor, to protect, to fulfill an oath. She's a shield. The people higher on this list, they are swords through and through. Speaking of the Hound, Sandor Clegane is the opposite of Brienne in many ways. He's not a knight. He spits on oaths. He has no honor to protect, and that's what makes him so unbelievably dangerous. The Hound doesn't care about looking good. He doesn't care about a proper stance. He cares about one thing, ending the man in front of him. He's a brawler who uses a longsword. He'll kick, punch, and headbutt his way to a victory. He fights angry. He fights dirty. And it works. He's a veteran of countless battles, a survivor of the horrors of King's Landing, and he carries a cynicism that keeps him alive. He knows that songs get you killed. While a tawny knight is looking for an opening to make a graceful cut, the Hound has already put his boot in your gut and his sword through your neck. He's not here to impress the crowd. He's here to make you dead. If the Hound is a rabid dog, his brother is a natural disaster. Sir Gregor is less a swordsman and more a force of nature. He is a monster of a man, likely the largest man in Westeros, and he wields a greatsword so massive that most knights couldn't even lift it, let alone swing it. Is he skilled in the traditional sense? Not really. He doesn't need to be. His defense is his offense. He swings that colossal blade with such terrifying force that a single blocked blow can shatter a man's shield, break his arm, and knock him senseless. There is no finesse here. There is only overwhelming, crushing power. He is the personification of lethality. He doesn't just kill, he obliterates. His reputation for cruelty and unstoppable rage is a weapon in itself. Men freeze when they see him. He is proof that in a real fight, raw, brutal strength can beat technique 9 times out of 10. He's not the best swordsman, but he is one of the deadliest men to ever hold a sword. Now for a name you might not know as well, but the lords and knights sure do. Sir Garland, the gallant Tyrell, is the second son of Highgarden, And while his younger brother Loras gets all the songs, the smart money in a real fight is on Garland. What makes him so dangerous? He's a thinker. They say he regularly trains against 3 or 4 opponents at once. Think about that. He's not just learning how to fight one man, he's learning how to manage chaos, to control the battlefield, to never be overwhelmed. That's a skill that wins wars, not just duels. Remember the Battle of the Blackwater, when Stannis' army was about to take the city. A knight in Renly Baratheon's green armor appeared, seemingly from the grave, and shattered their morale. That wasn't a ghost. That was Garland Tyrell, wearing his dead lord's armor to create a masterstroke of psychological warfare. He's skilled, he's smart, and he's underestimated. That's a deadly combination. Number 8. Prince Daemon Targaryen. Let's reach back into history to the generation before the dragons died. Prince Daemon Targaryen, the rogue prince. He was the most dangerous man of his age. He was a Targaryen prince in full, arrogant, charming, ambitious, and utterly ruthless. And he was a warrior of the highest caliber. He wielded Darksister, one of the 2 ancestral Valyrian steel swords of House Targaryen. It's a slender longsword made for a swift, precise killer, and Daemon was exactly that. He wasn't just a duelist, he was a commander and a dragonrider. He carved out his own kingdom in the Stepstones through sheer force of will and bloodshed. His ambition was matched only by his prowess. He was unpredictable, a whirlwind of charisma and violence. You never knew if he was going to buy you a drink or put Darksister through your eye. That volatility, combined with his legendary skill and a dragon at his back, made him terrifying. Number 7. Cregan Stark. From a fiery dragon to a wolf of ice. Lord Cregan Stark was the Lord of Winterfell during the Dance of the Dragons. In the north, they don't fight in shiny tournaments, they fight to survive. Cregan Stark embodied that. He was known as the Wolf of the Winter, a hard, grim man who lived and breathed the old ways. His reputation was so fearsome that when he finally marched his army south, the war more or less ended. No one wanted to face him. His most legendary feat, a duel with the man we're about to discuss, Aemon the Dragon Knight. They fought for hours, a masterclass of offense versus defense. By all accounts, Aemon was the more skilled swordsman, but Cregan was relentless, a force of nature. In the end, Aemon declared that he had never faced a better swordsman. That praise from a legend like Aemon tells you everything you need to know about the quiet lethality of the North. Number 6. Sir Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. Before he lost his sword hand, Sir Jaime was the benchmark. He was the standard against which every other living swordsman was measured, and they all came up short. Jaime Lannister had it all: speed, strength, and a natural, fluid grace that made fighting look as easy as breathing. He didn't have to think, his body just knew what to do. He won his first tournament at 13. He was knighted at 15. He was named to the Kingsguard at 16, the youngest ever. His arrogance was legendary, but it was earned. He cut down knights and outlaws from the Kingswood to the Iron Islands. Even Barristan Selmy, another legend we'll get to, acknowledged that Jaime possessed a raw, natural talent that few men in history could ever claim. In his prime, with 2 hands, Jaime Lannister was a golden lion in human form. And to face him was to face a beautiful, arrogant, and almost certain death. Number 5. Prince Aemon the Dragon Knight. Now we enter the realm of true legends. Prince Aemon Targaryen, known as the Dragon Knight, is the knight that all other knights want to be. He is the ultimate symbol of chivalry, duty, and martial perfection. For a generation, he was considered the noblest and most skilled warrior in the Seven Kingdoms. He too wielded the Valyrian steel sword Darksister. His most famous act was defending his sister, Queen Nyerys, from a treacherous knight who had accused her of treason. Aemon defended her honor in a trial by combat and slew his opponent, despite being grievously wounded himself. He was the greatest jouster and swordsman of his time. He was a hero. The story of his duel with Cregan Stark is told to this day. To be praised by your enemies, to be respected by a hard man like the Wolf of the Winter, that speaks volumes. Aemon wasn't just deadly, he was legendary. Number 4. Prince Daemon Blackfyre. If Aemon the Dragon Knight was the perfect hero, Daemon Blackfyre was the perfect warrior. He was the bastard son of King Aegon IV, and it was said that the warrior himself was reborn in him. When he was 12, his father gave him Blackfyre, the Valyrian steel sword of Aegon the Conqueror. The Sword of Kings. This single act planted a seed that would grow into a civil war that tore the realm in two, the Blackfyre Rebellion. And it happened for one simple reason. Men believed in Daemon's strength. He was a god on the battlefield. At the Battle of the Redgrass Field, he led the charge, shattering the lines of the king's army. He met the famously tough knight Sir Gawain Corbray of the Kingsguard in single combat. The duel was the centerpiece of the battle, a clash of titans that ended with Daemon victorious. He was so skilled, so charismatic, and so deadly with Blackfyre in his hand that half the lords of Westeros decided he should be king, simply because he was the greatest fighter they had ever seen. Number 3. Sir Barristan the Bold. Some men are legends because their stories are old. Sir Barristan Selmy is a legend you could see walking down the street. For 40 years he served in the Kingsguard, and in all that time he was considered one of the greatest swordsmen alive. His list of accomplishments is staggering. During the War of the Nine-Penny Kings, he cut a bloody path through the Golden Company and slew Maelys the Monstrous, the last of the Blackfyre pretenders, in single combat. When his king, Aerys II, was captured and held hostage at Duskendale, who went in alone to rescue him? Barristan the Bold. He scaled the walls, fought his way through the garrison, and saved the king. It's a feat that shouldn't be possible. He has fought in more battles and duels than almost anyone in history, and has lived to tell the tale. Even as an old man, he is faster and more skilled than knights half his age. Jaime Lannister revered him. Robert Baratheon respected him. He is the living embodiment of skill, honor, and experience, forged into a single deadly weapon. Number 2. The final two, the gods of the blade. We're at the peak now. The next two names are spoken with a reverence that borders on religious. You can argue all night about who was better, and 100 knights have. They represent the absolute apex of what a man can achieve with a sword. Placing him at number 2 feels like a crime, but it's a testament to the man at number 1. So at number 2 is the man we just discussed, Sir Barristan Selmy. Wait, you say, you just listed him at 3. No, he and the next man occupy a tier of their own. Let's place the others behind them. Barristan is a legend not just for his peak, but for his longevity. To be that good for that long is a feat of discipline and will that is almost inhuman. He is the history of modern sword fighting written in the flesh. But there is one name that is always, always whispered with a little more awe. Number 1. Sir Arthur Dane, the Sword of the Morning. This is it, the summit. Sir Arthur Dane was not just a knight of the Kingsguard, he was the Sword of the Morning, a title given only to the greatest knight of House Dane who is deemed worthy to wield their ancestral greatsword, Dawn. And the sword itself is a legend. It's not Valyrian steel. They say it was forged from the heart of a fallen star. It is pale as milk glass and as sharp as any blade ever made. In the hands of Arthur Dane, it was an extension of his soul. He was more than just a swordsman, he was an artist of combat. He defeated the Smiling Knight, a famously psychotic and dangerous outlaw that not even Jaime Lannister wanted to face. He was the champion of Aerys's Kingsguard, a group that included Barristan Selmy and Jaime Lannister, and they both looked up to him. The most telling account comes from Lord Eddard Stark, a man not known for exaggeration. He fought Sir Arthur at the Tower of Joy in Dawn. Ned Stark had 6 men with him. They faced 3 members of the Kingsguard. In the end, only Ned and Howland Reed survived. Ned Stark, one of the most honourable men in Westeros, would later tell his son that Sir Arthur Dane was the finest knight he had ever seen. He had the skill, the legendary weapon, and a reputation so immense that even his enemies spoke of him with reverence. He wasn't just deadly, he was perfection in steel. So there you have it, from the brutal pragmatism of the Hound to the mythical grace of Arthur Dane. These are the men who don't just win fights, they define them. Their legacies are not written in ink, but in blood and steel. That's all the time we have. Stay sharp out there. This has been the Small Council Unfiltered.